say your sins to our priest or our father, like all our prayers were recited. It's something that you read, you master it, you pray before meals.
Just what you're gonna do when I need grace.
See, I wanted something personal, something addressing me as an individual, and that is what the Catholic Church couldn't give me. It literally has a global mission. A verse read here is the same verse being read in India, Tanzania. I'm not saying outright that there's no individuality, but clearly. What do you mean our priest or our father will repeat all the 3 readings during preaching without even adding anything I could relate as a normal human being in my day-to-day living? Don't even remind me of how this church will be large. The only way they could reach me as an individual is having me come for the first mass. And if I won't make it to the first mass, then I'll have to come to the third one, because that's the only way I'll have made the obligation of the church. When will the priest learn that I have an issue at workplace and I need advice? When will they learn that my family has not been coming to church for the last 5 months and maybe they have issues that needs to be addressed? See, these are some of the obligations of the church. First of all, you have to attend mass on Sundays and holy days of obligation. When we say holy days of obligation, we mean days like Ash Wednesdays, Good Fridays. You'll have to attend mass. Something else, you'll have to confess your sins at least once a year. That one is good because at least once a year we can negotiate. But say your sins to our priest or our father is like. Something else, you have to receive Eucharist at least once a year. That one you can negotiate, but let me tell you something: if you're not married and you have children, you cannot receive the Holy Communion unless maybe you're like a widow. But extreme cases, yeah. Something else, you have to observe the days of fasting and abstinence. Babes, do they follow up whether you fasted during fasting? Do they follow up? They don't, but you'll have to fast. Something else, you have to provide for the needs of the church. When I tell you guys, you'll have small groups and each group is given a target. Maybe there's a building, big build, there's a target. You'll have to contribute because you'll have to be in that small group in the first place. That's the only way they'll know you're in this church, actually. Something else, observe the marriage laws. That is a requirement. It's usually in a card where you're given the communion, everything. You'll have to be married, or if you're called to be single, or being a priest. So it has not been the case for me, even though daily mass is more so personal devotion rather than an obligation. It has not always been for me. Or maybe at least not for any girl whom we boarded with at my primary school. I was in a primary school where the boarding management was a Catholic church. Let me tell you something about our school. People used to board even when you were in grade 1. As an individual, I boarded in grade 5. At least I was still a baby. When I tell you guys, we used to go for mass every single day. Come rain, come sunshine. Are you Muslim? Are you pagan? Is it an opening date? Do we have exams? Do we have KCPE? Do we have visiting day? It didn't matter. And then in the evenings, we will switch the evenings. Today we will learn about a saint, maybe Saint Paul. Tomorrow we will recite the rosary. And so on and so forth. Mass responses at this time were at my fingertips. I did all the mystery, the sorrowful mystery, the joyful mystery. I was even chosen severally to serve mass. I mean, at this point, I would debate with people who usually debate that you pray to Mary, you love dead people, all those things. And we all know that those debates usually go nowhere. It became routine. I started going for mass during holidays. When I tell you my mind was set, I did not even need an alarm. I would wake up, my brain would tell me we need to go for mass. And then during the evening, I would recite the Hail Marys. All our prayers were recited. It's something that you read, you master it, you pray before meals, you pray prayers to even Saint Michael. I was shocked after attending CU weekend challenge in my high school years to see people crying and lying down, people speaking in other tongues. I was lost. All I know is kneeling when it's time to kneel, standing when it's time to stand, reading the Bible when it's time to read the Bible, going for confession to my priest. Going for confession is the only way God will forgive you. Yeah. This was a different experience. Like God reaching individuals. It stuck with me. Okay, well, not significantly to make me leave the Catholic Church or even maybe have an idea of leaving. It was just new, something different. My culture and routine of going for mass every day pretty much went on with me to my campus. I would leave my hostel room, lie to my roommates that I'm going for a walk. I was going for mass, by the way. I'm not saying this to say that it's a behavior of going to church that's preventing me from saying no. But when you're going for, I mean, all my roommates were Catholics, so it's not something that will surprise them that I'm going for mass or something. But it's not common to hear anyone share that they are reciting the rosary daily, maybe they're going for mass daily. But okay, you will hear I attend mass on Sunday, but daily, it's just unheard of. I don't know whether you guys ever heard someone say I go for mass daily. At this point, I'm living alone in this small room when I started stumbling around manifestation videos. I'm in my third year. I am so empty. You mean I could recite one affirmation and get money? All the money I wanted. I was all in. There was this subliminal I would listen to that had the title of something to do with increasing your body. Oh my God. When I tell you I would sleep on this, I'm not lying.
This is exactly the subliminal I was talking
about.
My
butt exploded like within a week of me listening to this. I was bored. I couldn't believe it. Mind you, I'm still going for mass every single day and saying the rosary maybe occasionally. I started stumbling again upon testimonies of people saying that what I have been doing is witchcraft and that God delivered them from all that. So I was like, what do you mean? So I started exploring more and more. This one video that was talking about the characteristics of a satanic church. It was shouting at me. Like, I couldn't wait to go for the next mass to see if the Catholic Church has any of these characteristics. And that very mass was the last day I went to that church. It was the last day I went to that church. Apart from when I am home, I mean, my parents are still Catholic, so yes, I'll join them on Sunday because again, it's my parents. And also it's not like I'm going to any other church. I mean, in simple terms, there's no option of staying home. With all that, no one prepared me for the toil to find a real church. Okay, now I'm free and I'm open to start looking for churches, but they are so deceiving nowadays. Since the August of 2024, I've been to 3 churches, and for each one of them, I've had lessons I've learned. So this one specifically taught me how to pray for hours, even fast for myself. It was life-changing. I didn't have an idea of praying, fasting. All I knew is reciting the Hail Marys, the Apostles' Creed. I was saying I believe in the Catholic Church and everything's really. But I tell you, I existed. I can't lie. I didn't know anything that was going on in my life. It was like the devil has stolen all my life. So in this church, I received the gift of speaking in tongues. I became so different. I even started reading the Bible for myself. I started learning how to share my story. And that's shortly before I left that church. In the Catholic Church, you'll only catch a priest reminding everyone to recite the rosary. Never will you hear them say, study the Bible. But there was this Nigerian priest, one specific Nigerian priest who had visited us. He had started telling us about reading the Bible for ourselves. I had already chosen my priest, the one who's going to attend my wedding. And that is, before I even got a man. So that's my short story of why I left the Catholic Church. I don't have an issue with anyone who's okay with the church. I mean, I've been loyal. I've been a loyal one and a victim maybe. But when you start learning God for yourself, you'll not feel obligated to attend a mass. You'll not feel obligated to recite a rosary. Pray for specific issues and addressing God from your closet is the best thing that could happen to someone. God is not in a building or in arranged beads. He is with us everywhere we go. You don't have to go for confession to be forgiven. So that's my story, my short story of how I left the Catholic Church, why I left the Catholic Church. Even though I'm still finding a real church, I feel like I'm free. So goodbye. I hope you enjoyed this video. You're going to like it and subscribe. Give me your views on the same, and also tell me whether you know anything about the Catholic Church and what church you attend, how you check a good church. I want to get all those insights because I'm so confused at this point. I don't know what church to attend, but I'm hoping to find a new church very soon. So goodbye and have a lovely day.